Greetings and welcome back to another episode of The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, the show where I, the curator, discuss my personal favorite show of all time, personal favorite franchise of all time, Doctor Who. And we've been back from a bit of a hiatus. We have not done an episode when we should have, but it was for a good cause, for a good reason. My guest, my trusty cohort, my partner in crime, to use a Doctor Who reference, which we're going to talk about anyway, my partner in crime couldn't make it because, why don't I just let him explain it? My good buddy friend, Soda, finally back again with a vengeance, and we're finally able to do an episode together. Yes. How are you doing, sir?
I'm beyond tired, but the reason for the hiatus is because I've been doing a local production of One Floor Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and for the last month, we've been, ramping up to performances, which, as of this recording, has already happened our opening weekend. So that's where I've been, beyond tired. Now, question, is that a new intro, or am I just hallucinating?
I'm so glad you caught that, because it went completely over Snark's head when we did the show.
Well, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, that's way too new to have been in there. There's a couple where I was like,
Yeah, so I'm glad you saw that. I mean, he did not notice at all.
Naturally.
Like, we had a fun discussion about that after the show ended. So I figured after I did the previous intro for the Sontarans, I got on a bit of a kick, and I really wanted to experiment with some new intros. So that's the new one.
The intro reflects the topic.
I had considered that, but most of the topics will require the same intro, I think. So that's why I haven't done it.
That's cool. But
if I'm doing a topic all about the Daleks, I'll do a Dalek themed intro. If I'm doing something about the Cybermen, same thing. But for most
companion themed episode, just all on companions.
That'll be a very long intro, but okay. I'll think about it.
Not as long as the episodes.
It'll make the episode longer. Something that usually makes the episode even longer is, of course, the birthday section. Now, of course, because of the rules I set up for the show, we're not going to do for the more recent week. We're going to do for the week prior, the week we missed from the 7th of May all the way to the 13th. And on the 7th of May, opening up our birthday list for today, is one Mr. Valentine Dial. I never knew how to properly pronounce that name. But yeah, clearly from this picture, he was the Black Guardian. He was the Black Guardian in a bunch of episodes. Of course, starting in the Armageddon Factor, but then in the sort of the Guardian trilogy of Mordwin Undead, Terminus, and Enlightenment. That's a character I would definitely want to see come back. Got mentioned in the Giggle, but from the way it was mentioned, probably not going to see him again. But who knows? Who knows? On the 8th of May, we have Mr. Douglas Camfield. He was primarily known as a director of Doctor Who. Even wrote a couple of episodes. He was a production assistant as well. And he also technically is kind of a doctor. He's one of the faces in the Brain of Morbius episode. So essentially, he's one of the Morbius doctor.
One of the blink and you'll miss some doctors.
Yeah, one of those, exactly. One of those blink and you'll miss it doctors that now you kind of have to not blink in order to be aware of it. Anywho, so also on the 8th, Mr. Daniel Kaluuya. Of course, it was in one episode, just the one in Planet of the Dead. But I mean, he's done a shit ton of other stuff since. So, of course, you got to mention him here. And
one of those actors who appeared early in his career on Doctor Who went on to become a critically acclaimed actor.
Yep.
Like Andrew Garfield.
Like what?
Andrew Garfield.
I was going to bring up Andrew Garfield, also Felicity Jones as well.
Yeah, Felicity Jones, yeah.
Carey
Mulligan is a great example.
Oh, yeah, Carey Mulligan, exactly. Also a lot of people on the 8th, essentially, for some reason, is Aisha Anthony. Of course, in this picture, clearly can be seen as playing Dee Dee Blasco in Midnight, but she's played several other characters on Big Finish, particularly a character called Ruth in many of the Bernice Summerfield episodes. I have no idea who exactly she is because I haven't gotten around to those episodes just yet. But I mean, she appears in a bunch of them, so I figured, she's probably one of the main characters. And
this is from Midnight, right?
Yeah.
Good, because I know we'll be talking about her again. Or am I thinking of a different actress? Wrong episode. Oh shit! I'm thinking
wrong episode. Wrong episode, buddy. Wrong.
I don't know why I thought that was going to be brought up today as a premiere. That's like the 6th episode of that season.
I don't know either. But now we're making the jump from the 8th all the way to the 12th with William Hughes. Yep. He played.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
He played the young master in a blink and you'll miss it scene. But what were you about to say?
I was gonna say, I saw that this was his birthday, and then I read that unfortunately he met a tragic end.
Yeah, it says he died when he was 20. What the hell happened to him?
His own life.
Oof. Yeah. Now that's a shame.
That is.
So let's move on to something a bit more happier, a bit more optimistic. To the woman who needs no introduction whatsoever. Miss Catherine Tate.
I was gonna say that could be a lot of different women in this show, but yes.
I mean,
so there's 2 roles for me that she will forever be linked with, and one is this one, Donna Noble. She will forever, ever, number 1, be Donna Noble, the Donna Doctor to me. Number 2 is Nellie from The Office.
Me too. And next we have also on the 12th, someone who does need some introduction, Mr. Anthony Rourke Mills, or just Anthony Mills. He was a Dalek voice, the voice of the Daleks for Resurrection of the Daleks, Revelation of the Daleks, and Remembrance of the Daleks. The last 3 Dalek serials for the 80s before the show got canceled. Another woman who you might not recognize the name, but I think you can pretty much guess from the picture, Frances Barber, who of course played Madame Kavarian in the Matt Smith era. Of course, she came back to reprise the character on Big Finish. She's got a lot of interesting stories. She made one of
the biggest mistakes in Who history.
Yeah, she did.
She caused a good man to go to war.
Oh yes.
One of the greatest episodes.
And she doesn't get any better on Big Finish. I mean, she killed the Doctor before she was supposed to kill the Doctor. You can imagine what caused that, what that led to.
Nothing good.
Yep. And by the way, did you know River Song had a bunch of sisters?
Not surprised.
Go ahead and listen to those episodes. You will not be disappointed. Moving on, we have on the 13th of May, Miss Zoe Wanamaker, Madam Hooch herself, or as Doctor Who fans know her, Cassandra, the Lady Cassandra O'Brien, Delta 17.
First time I ever saw her was in a BBC sitcom called My Family.
My Family or yours? And finally, wrapping this up, on the 13th, we have the despicable Milton Johns. Of course, the reason I say despicable is because of the roles he played. He played a character called Bennick in The Enemy of the World, very hateful and not very empathetic character. There's also Guy Crayford in The Android Invasion, who has a little bit of audience sympathy, but he's mostly remembered for me as being the worst Castellan of Gallifrey ever, Castellan Kellner in Invasion of Time.
Now,
not only what?
That picture makes it look like he's got a cybernetic eye.
Let me just zoom in for a sec. Yeah, kinda. Because of the camera flash. It's the camera flash. I see what you mean. So yeah, clearly not in his actual episodes. I mean, I think it's kind of tough to talk about him because he's an old man in this picture. But I mean, in the episodes themselves, he's got a very punchable face, and it goes very well with the characters he played on the show.
He's definitely got that goofy looking face, but the image of that cybernetic eye just kind of like contradicts itself.
Yeah. So for the wonderful list of people we had today, thank you all. We quite literally could not do this without you. Something else we quite literally could not do without is season premieres or series premieres. We're that sort of people. We don't care which way you pronounce it. It's the first. It's referring to the seasons themselves, and really, without one of these episodes in particular, we would not be talking about this show at all today.
So before we continue, so I just was on IMDb the other day. Do you want to notice? I noticed now there is a third Doctor Who entry because they're counting what's happening now as a whole new thing on IMDb.
I know, and I don't care.
Oh, okay. I was just pointing that out.
That was Russell T Davies. I don't know why he did it, but okay, fine. If they want to call this new season the new Who series season 1,
you know what? I get it. It's a new era. They did it when the relaunch in 05. That started as season 1 as well. This is a whole new era.
I mean, they also did a new era with Jodie Whittaker, and they still kept it as season 12.
What I mean by a whole new era is now it's the Disney era, like for good or bad. Like that is a whole new freaking thing for the series. So I understand why they're relabeling it as season 1 from that sense. Even though us as Who fans, we do know it's just a fucking continuation of the last one.
That's what I'm saying. They can label it
whichever way they did it. I get why they did it. Like
they can label it any way they want. I don't care if it's a new label, if it's not a new label. It's Doctor Who for me. To me, I'm just calling it season 40. Yeah, that's the way I roll. Anywho,
the new season of Who is what I call it because I didn't realize it was season 40.
Yeah. Good on Ncuti Gatwa. His first full season, season 40. And anywho, back to the main topic. Of course, the first episode which basically relaunched series 1 or season 1, again, depending who you ask, Rose. Now, for the episodes you watched, do you want to take the reins and I'll do the thing for the episodes you didn't watch?
Not really, because I don't have as much of a didactic memory for this as you do. So I will gladly add shit.
No, not that. It's just what do you think of the episodes?
Yeah. No, so okay, I thought you were gonna do a brief synopsis and then we were gonna do our thoughts. That's what I thought we were gonna do.
Do you want to do the brief synopsis? Because I can do it. I can do
it. Go ahead and do it because think about it. 50. This could be someone's first episode of the show.
All right, cool. I like the way you're thinking. So yeah, Rose, the first relaunch of the show. Basically, it kind of follows the same model as the first episode of the show ever. We start with the companion, and then we see the Doctor. Of course, it didn't take half an episode for the Doctor to show up, but it's still more or less the same model. So yeah, basically, this character Rose, she works at a clothes shop, and lo and behold, the shop window dummies come to life. Which, of course, as old-time Doctor Who fans know, that just means they are the Autons, the classic villains from the Jon Pertwee era. And of course, the Doctor shows up, blows up the whole place, and mysteriously disappears. She then, somehow mysteriously and inexplicably keeps being drawn to this mysterious man and the mysterious plastic people as she tries to learn more about this guy. They replace her boyfriend Mickey with a plastic replicant, and
which is still one of the creepiest things they've done. Just the look of Auton Mickey is just ugh.
But I mean, it's Noel Clarke with some makeup on.
No, I know. It's so disturbing. Like, ugh.
I think it's more disturbing when the Doctor shoots a cork in his head and it just goes right in. That's disturbing.
That's effects that don't hold up.
Well, yes, but conceptually, if you use your imagination, that's a bit messed up. Yeah, so they and by the way, since we're on that right now, I just love the Doctor just pulls his head off and he's like, "Don't think that's gonna stop me," and then it's the guy at the restaurant who screams his head off and not the woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, so eventually they track down the nesting consciousness, which is controlling all the Autons. And the Doctor defeats the Doctor and Rose together defeat the nesting consciousness with what?
Oh shit! Defeat.
Come on, it's right there.
Oh, fuck. Wait, thanks for throwing me on the spot. I'm trying to remember the episode now.
I knew this was going to happen.
God damn it.
Do you not remember the substance they used?
No, I'm fucking blanking.
I know you're going to have a laugh when you finally hear it.
It's some dumb, I know. Go ahead.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm...
Go ahead.
Anti-plastic.
That's right, anti-plastic.
Anti-plastic. What a brilliant idea.
Yeah. Like, talk about a fucking MacGuffin.
Yeah, they use anti-plastic to defeat the nesting consciousness.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, the doctor just has a vial of anti-plastic in his pocket. And, of course, the doctor then offers Rose to travel with him, and she does, and leaving her boyfriend behind. Any other further notes you want to add?
So, great way to kick off the series. Right off the bat, you're introduced to the main players. Rose, Mickey, Rose's mom, Jackie, and the doctor.
Your whole family before you know the doctor.
Exactly. And I know you mentioned it earlier, but this is something that we're going to see pretty much every time a companion is introduced. That's the setup. You're with the companion for a bit, then they meet the doctor. And so, yeah, fun episode. Does it have its flaws? Yes, this is a near 20-year-old episode at this point. But in terms of as a statement saying we're back, they did a good job.
Oh yeah, we're back and we're here to stay.
It's still considered one of the better episodes of New Who.
And did you catch the major plot hole in the episode?
No.
Which is forgivable. It was the pilot. It was literally the first scene they shot, but it's a plot hole.
What is it?
Is after Rose thinks Mickey dies because of the plastic Mickey dissolved, she says, I'll have to tell his mother.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. Never thought about that. But yeah, that's right. Later on, it's revealed he's raised by his grandmother.
Yep. Doesn't have a mom. His mom passed away.
Yeah, something like that. Like, you're right. It's easy to forgive because it's season 1. They didn't exactly have the template there yet.
Yeah. I mean, that was introduced in season 2.
And it's common in almost every TV show ever done.
Yep. By the way, there's a novelization of the episode written by Russell T Davies, audio read by Camille Kaduri, Ben's favorite actress, of course.
Yep.
And I highly recommend it. This is I cannot recommend this enough. I wouldn't say I would like it to replace the episode, but it's a major improvement. That's like Russell T taking everything that worked about this episode and improving it and adding some stuff. And I think it was really well made. So just recommendation for anyone watching and you, if you're interested.
If I can find it.
Now, the next episode is the first episode I ever watched this show, by the way. New Earth. So, yeah, new doctor, familiar settings, kind of. Same, new doctor, same companion, same TARDIS. And a returning villain, which, ironically, I don't know how this keeps happening, but she was brought up in the birthday section. It always somehow happens with this show. It's wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, I was going to say it's not one of my more favorite episodes.
It's not?
It's a good episode, but I think there are better episodes.
All right. So basically the Doctor takes Rose to a planet New Earth, which is kind of a continuation of their first ever story, the first ever adventure besides, Rose. After the Earth was destroyed, the humanity moved to this new planet, and they go to this futuristic hospital where they find out that in that far in the future they've already found a cure for every single disease, even some diseases that they weren't supposed to have cures for just yet. And then the Doctor uncovers a major conspiracy of these cat nurse nuns, essentially growing humans to infect them with every single disease and extract antibodies from them to produce those cures. And Cassandra shows back up again.
And
trying to
so
take
this is
revenge.
my favorite part of the series of the episode is the body jumping of Cassandra.
Oh yes.
Oh dear God.
Everyone-
David Tennant going as saucy as he can. Oh, give me that any day.
Oh, 2 hearts. I'm beating out a samba. And eventually, the Doctor finds a way to cure all of the experimental humans. They arrest all the cat nurse nuns, and Cassandra goes somewhere peaceful to die.
This is the ending of this episode is also pretty well done as well. She body jumps in.
Which is where this picture's from, by the way.
Yeah, yes, of course, because she doesn't have never had long hair forever, as long as I've ever seen her in real life. But no, what was her minion's name again? Chip. So yeah, she body jumps into Chip, and they go back in time to a moment that you had seen earlier in the episode, with her as a human, and she dies basically in her arms.
Yep.
In the arms of the person who she loved the most, you know. It's
So much for traveling back to your own personal timeline, eh, Doctor?
Yeah, it's a little different though because of the different body, but yeah, it's kind of bittersweet.
Yep. And I love that they already set it up. Like she said, that was the last time anyone called me pretty.
Yeah.
Anyone said I was beautiful, and she literally said it to herself. That's how you do proper time travel in an episode, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing else to add?
Nope, that's it. Like I said, I think it's a good episode, but there are better episodes for me.
I mean, if this episode didn't terrify me to the bone first time, I don't think I'd be a fan of the show at all. Today.
How old were you when you watched it again?
14?
Yeah, okay, I get that. You see, I was in my mid-20s when I saw it for the first time.
Right. I mean, just to me, it was more so the sick humans that really got me. That's the thing that really got me, not the cats or the body.
Yeah. I get it, because that's basically a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, and zombie apocalypse we almost lived through, oddly enough.
Yep.
But so moving on to a happier, more cheerful episode. Smith and Jones, with the introduction of my favorite modern series companion. So, and again, another very good example of doing time travel in the same episode.
Mm-hmm.
Russell T. seems to have a knack for this. But yeah, so this new character, Martha Jones, she's a medical student. She works at a hospital, which then gets taken and brought to the moon by apparently these large and intimidating rhinoceros policemen who are just looking for a fugitive. And turns out that the fugitive is actually the sweet old lady we saw earlier in the episode, who is effectively a vampire, essentially. A plasmavore trying to hide among humans and draining their blood to appear to be human in front of the Judoon scans. And the Doctor, of course, exposes her, almost living his own life in the process. But kind of makes an impression on Martha, which is the reason why she stuck around and decided to join him. That was pretty brief.
Whoops.
What?
The whole kiss. Whoops.
Yeah. Whoops. It could save million. It could save 1,000 lives. I promise you, it means nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great episode. Nothing. Sorry,
that's what we're getting.
Well, no. I thought I cut you off. That's why I stopped.
No. Just keep going.
Okay. Yeah. No. Great episode. I'm with you. Martha is It kind of depends on the day with me, which is who I prefer, Donna and Martha. But I will say this: Martha's season had the most consistent good to great episodes. Hers was easily the best written of the three. Love this episode. I love the beginning. We see the Doctor just randomly show up and Martha go saying like this, and then we see why that happens later in the episode. Just the chemistry between these two right off the bat. It's just like, wow, it's there. No, this is one of the better episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And what a
I
great
prefer this over New Earth.
I can agree. Interestingly, another episode takes place in a hospital.
Yeah.
But what a great addition to the Doctor Who lore.
Oh, and another one where we get introduced to the entire family dynamic of Martha Jones before she meets.
And you know exactly all the problems that they have.
Exactly.
With the family before the Doctor shows up.
That's easily one of Russell T Davies' strengths when it comes to writing companions.
Mm-hmm.
Which
family.
Moffat never really did that. Like, I mean, I think he did it with Clara. I don't like with Amy. It's a little different. Be difficult to say if that's what happened.
Yeah, but
I
mean, I
think Clara, I'm pretty sure that's what happened, where we got introduced to her and like got to know who she is before she met the Doctor properly.
Clara's a very gray area because you saw other versions of her first.
Right. But I mean, like, yeah, Clara proper, yes. But I mean, like, Oswin, I don't remember.
But there was, I mean, strictly speaking, we're still on season 3, but
yeah,
there was a short mini episode introducing Clara as a child before the episode aired.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
I don't remember what the name of the mini-sode is at the moment, but it's there. It's the Doctor still. Okay, so while you're not here, I'm going to put this up. So while the Doctor's looking for Clara, he's just sitting there on a swing, and he's talking to child Clara without realizing it's her. And he's like,
I've seen that.
I'm looking for someone. I don't know if I'll ever find them. So yeah,
I've seen that.
Somehow Clara found her way to sneak into this conversation about Martha. But so great introduction to a new character and a great new addition to the Doctor Who lore with the Judoon. Moving on. By the way, just so we're clear, I'm pretty sure all companions in the modern series have some sort of family-ish connection, which we do see. Yeah. Yeah.
No, after you described that in the episode, I recall seeing it. Now I'm just trying to find the name.
Yeah, you do that while I bring up Partners in Crime, which I've already referenced at the beginning of the episode. And it's another one of those episodes that show us one of the people from the section, Catherine Tate. So a returning character with Donna Noble, not for the last time, that is. But yeah, so Donna Noble, the beloved companion, coming back with a vengeance, and it seems as though the Doctor and Donna are both unknowingly investigating the same company, which is selling diet pills, which apparently turn people's fat and people themselves into these adorable adipose creatures to repopulate a missing planet or something. And of course, they after about half an episode of unknowingly running into each other without realizing it, they finally meet and have the old meeting that they were fated to have, I should say. And they stopped the evil foster woman from turning all humans into living fat, and the fat just flew away. And Donna's now traveling with the Doctor again. So, anything else to add?
So yeah, this is another great episode. This one's a little different. Like, yes, here we're introduced to the Nobles and whatnot, but we've already been introduced to several of the characters before. Like, we were actually already met Donna Noble prior to this, but she was never intended to be a companion. We had met Wilfred Mott prior to this, but he was never intended to be Donna's grandfather. That was just due to unfortunate circumstances. So great introduction to the family, even though we'd already met the characters prior. It's a really, really well done episode. The Doctor and his best friend.
Yep. Fighting tiny fat creatures.
Adorable tiny fat creatures.
Yeah. Lovable fat creatures. Who want to harm these guys?
I want a plushie.
Did you see the new Ghostbusters?
Mm-hmm.
They kind of remind me of the marshmallow creatures.
Yep.
In the new Ghostbusters movie.
As soon as you mentioned Ghostbusters, that's where my mind went. Yeah.
Yep. Except those marshmallow marshmallow things from the Ghostbusters movie are kind of suicidal. But we're not going to talk about that. Speaking of suicide, one sure way
They're crazy.
Very crazy. And speaking of suicide, one surefire way to get yourself killed is to antagonize the Doctor, especially the 11th Doctor in the 11th hour. So, yeah, Matt Smith's debut, also, again, we get introduced to the companion. Well, we do kind of see the Doctor flying through London in the damaged TARDIS, but the episode pretty much essentially starts with Amelia Pond meeting the Doctor for the first time. Yeah, again, so the concept of time travel in the same episode comes up again a couple of times, as a matter of fact. But yeah, so it turns out that there's this escaped prisoner who escaped through a crack in time, and these creatures called the Atraxia are looking for him and almost want to blow up the planet in the process in order to eliminate him. And that pisses the Doctor off. So after he finds the prisoner Zero and sends him back to the Atraxi, he calls them back to yell at them, making sure they're never going to bother Earth ever again. And one of the greatest moments in Doctor Who of all time. So
not just Doctor Who, one of the most badass moments of all time. Like, come on, it's like the biggest like dick measuring contest ever. Like, hey, this is who I am in my entire history, and you should run.
Yeah, the Doctor's going to win any dick measuring contest with any character ever, right?
Yeah. Like, this is one of the best introductions to a character, or in this case, version of a character ever.
Reintroductions.
Yeah, reintroduction.
I mean,
it's a little weird that the quality of episodes kind of went downhill after this for a while, but...
But yeah, so pretty much every regeneration is kind of a soft reboot for the show, especially when you're changing showrunners and such.
Well, and this one had more to it as well, because this went into the HD era, so it was shot differently, looked nothing like the Russell T Davies era. Like it when you watch it back to back, it's kind of quite jarring, because you get Matt Smith at the end of time, and then automatically, poof, same scene but in a totally different style, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, totally different TARDIS and everything.
Yeah.
But if you want to make a statement that this is the show, that's the way you do it.
Exactly.
And Stephen Moffat kept up the high quality for season premieres with the next one, which, surprise, surprise, this is a first. It's a two-parter of a season premiere with, of course, The Impossible Astronaut.
Yep. The first time shot outside of the UK, correct? In America?
First time shot in America, I believe, not first time outside the UK.
Sorry, yeah.
First time out of Europe. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, if you, again, just like we said about the 11th hour, if you want to make a statement, that's how you do it. Not necessarily a statement for this is the show now, but like you want to introduce a plot point, a MacGuffin early on, and get people chomping at the bit to find out what the resolution is.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Kill the Doctor, episode 1.
Pretty much.
Yep. And that got a lot of people. I mean, just the responses from people at the time, and like, I don't know I don't know which episode you saw. I do know what was your first episode, but again, I saw it in the correct order where when it came out. And when this came out, like the impact that an episode like this opening the way that it does has on people, it's like, what are you doing, Steven? Not for the last time, by the way.
So when I got around to this episode, so I saw the Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe first. Then I went back and started the 11th hour and did my way chronologically to this. But I wasn't watching live when this happened. But that is exactly how I felt. It's like, wait, what? Come again?
So when you're watching it live, it's like, it's like you don't know that the Doctor survives at the end.
Yeah.
Of course, he does survive. I mean, it's the main character. I mean, it's the freaking Doctor.
Well, and then you do see him at the end of the episode. Or is it the end of the second part?
No, it's just, I mean, there's two Doctors, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So, like, okay, so You know the Doctor's gonna die potentially at the end of the season. What's the lead up to it? So I think it was a great way
Oh yeah.
doing it. And of course, like I said, this is a two-parter, and the second part is, of course, Day of the Moon. Finally, Doctor Who is addressing the moon landing. And what a great way to do it. And of course, it's a great resolution of what started in this episode, where with Prisoner Zero saying "Silence will fall," and then we hear it again at the end of the Pandorica opens, and there's always these hints towards silence. The silence is coming. Silence will fall, and now you finally know what the silence is. It's these Slender Man, Area 51 aliens that make you forget when you saw them after you look away. So if Stephen Moffat wanted to top the Weeping Angels, this is his one way of doing it.
These are great one-off villains.
What?
These are great one-off villains.
Yeah, great, and great as non-one-off as well. But I mean, if you again, that's just like Stephen Moffat always somehow wrapping everything in a neat little bow, even when you don't need to. But how come you've never seen them before? Oh, it's because they literally told everyone to murder them since the 60s and early 70s. So yeah, that's why, and that's why. Great plan by Stephen Moffat and the Doctor as well.
Great took place with a really good Nixon impersonator. You Kenton Delaware III. You get introduced to him in this episode. Like, it's a really, really well thought out episode.
Yep, and again, time travel in the same episode working.
Yeah.
This is the last time this is the last time I'll see you, but you'll see me again, or something like that. I can't remember the exact line. But yeah, really great episode, and of course they reused the restaurant for a different episode. Not here to talk about that because the season finale, not a season premiere. But
I like that they did it. So
yeah, I think it was unnecessary, but I think that whole episode is unnecessary. Anywho, so now you move on to the third season-ish with the 11th Doctor, Amy and Rory, starting off with Asylum of the Daleks. And look at that. We got another first, a season premiere starting with the Daleks instead of saving them for like a finale or whatever. So I think this is a good idea. I mean, they did kind of had several seasons in the classic series that started with Dalek episodes, but this is the first for the modern series. So the Daleks basically call the Doctor to help them because they need to destroy their asylum. They know the place where they throw away Daleks who go wrong, Daleks who get destroyed, and they need to get rid of it. But the only way to get rid of it is to have someone on the inside deactivate the shields. So they send the Doctor and companions down there. And while navigating through the difficult terrain of inside a freaking Dalek asylum, they get introduced to a mysterious character named Oswin, who helps them along before the Doctor realizes by the end that she was actually a Dalek the entire time.
So heartbreaking.
Speak for yourself. But
but it's because you hate the character in general. I'm just saying, like, that moment when you're watching that episode, it's so heartbreaking.
Not to me, but so eventually she shuts down the Daleks and makes all the Daleks forget who the Doctor is, because of course she can do that apparently, and she shuts down the force field like the Doctor was supposed to, and the Daleks blow up the planet, completely forgetting who the Doctor is for a few seasons. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, this is one for me is less memorable, I should say. The main takeaway though for this episode was that they had Rory and Amy fighting, on the verge of divorce, which felt so out of fucking left field.
They signed the divorce papers at the beginning.
That's right. Yeah, it's so out of left field. Like, what the hell? That's my main takeaway from this episode.
I mean, there was a mini series of mini episodes called Pond Life.
Yeah.
Basically, like a day in the life of the Ponds, where you can kind of see the lead up to the divorce, but it still doesn't really explain why they're getting
So
divorced.
weird.
And you're getting the explanation in this episode, and frankly, it doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
But
weird.
what? At least it gets resolved very quickly, and Amy and Rory are still together. You know what? I think this whole stupid divorce storyline almost sours the experience of Angels Take Manhattan, because you see them at the end of how they would literally die for one another twice in the same episode.
Yeah.
So there is nothing that these two wouldn't do for one another. So the whole divorce thing is pointless.
Yeah, it was, like I said, very, very weird.
You cannot convince me that these characters would ever be even considering divorce. They just love each other too much.
Yeah.
Now, this is a bit of a weird gray area, because technically speaking, this season was kind of cut into two
Okay,
separate
I
seasons.
was wondering if we were going to do this one.
I was wondering that too. Eventually, I figured the best way is to just do it and whatever. So, the Bells of St. John.
Mm-hmm.
So, after hearts broken by the deaths of Amy and Rory, the Doctor took a bit of a hiatus. He almost came back into the game when he met a character called Clara Oswin Oswald, who also died, because that's what Stephen Moffat does with characters, apparently. Watch the new episode if you haven't already. But yeah, so the Doctor then goes on a mission to find whoever this original Clara Oswald is. Eventually, he gives up and goes into seclusion again, and then he finds her, because, of course,
That's how it works.
that's how it works for the Doctor. And so the Great Intelligence is back, and apparently weaponized Wi-Fi all of a sudden. And so Clara becomes super intelligent, because of course she is, and she finds a way to do something the Doctor can't do, because of course she does, and gets uploaded to the Wi-Fi mainframe, and the Doctor then motivates the puppet of the Great Intelligence to let her go, and all the other ones as well. What do you think of this episode? And look at that, we have a bear. We have the bear guest.
Yeah, the bear. I like the episode just fine. A lot of the Clara stuff, while good, I think is considerably weaker compared to the Amy and Rory stuff. Not that this was a fine episode. Some good Doctor moments in here for sure. But yeah, it's fine.
Okay. I just wish the Great Intelligence was used better. Not so. Anywho, now we're on to the first Capaldi season premiere. Deep Breath.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what every Doctor Who fan said to themselves after this episode ended. So,
Yeah.
new Doctor, familiar setting, for Victorian London again. The Paternoster Gang show up again for the final time on television. And
fucking weird, but whatever.
Yeah, and because Stephen Moffat loves referencing old stuff, especially some of his old stuff, some of his own stuff, we got clockwork robots stealing limbs from people to build their bodies for some reason, because they're trying to get to the Promised Land, and the Doctor, of course, stops him after gaining his proper memory back, getting his mind back after being regenerated. But yeah, so the Doctor basically kills the guy and gives a staring look into the camera to signify that, hey, this ain't your granddaddy's doctor anymore. This Doctor's willing to kill now. Let's see how long that's gonna last. But yeah, this is not a very good first outing for the Doctor.
Nope, definitely not. Yeah, it was definitely quite jarring. This, I believe, was the first one I saw live. So yeah, coming off of my love for Matt Smith's era and coming to this was quite jarring at the time.
Very jarring. And That kind of spelled the direction for the rest of the season, which I still contend is by far the worst full season of Doctor Who of all time. Technically,
Not a lot of people look on it highly.
yeah. Again, technically, it's a bit of a technicality because Colin Baker didn't technically have a first season, but whatever. Anywho, so as dark and bleak and jarring as this episode was, we're now treated to a slightly more fun, lighthearted introduction to the Doctor in the next season premiere, which is once again a two-parter and once again a Dalek story with, of course, The Magician's Apprentice being the first part. So yeah, the Doctor's basically having a midlife crisis because apparently he knows he's going to die at some point, and he just took off to a Middle Eastern village to try and rock out and be the best man he can be. And oh yeah, Davros is dying apparently, and Davros wants to see the Doctor again because apparently the Doctor abandoned him on a battlefield when he was a kid. And so the Davros's minions take the Doctor, Clara, and Missy back to the planet Skaro, where Davros is surrounded by Daleks from all kinds of eras of Doctor Who, all kinds of models, and along the way, the Doctor does this, and I just love it. I really love this moment. But yeah, so after an entire episode trying to convince the Doctor that he's legit dying and potentially fake killing Clara and Missy, the Doctor eventually decides to help Davros, giving him some regeneration energy, which then is transferred to all the Daleks on the city, who then rise up from the sewers and try to and essentially attack the Daleks that essentially threw them away, including Davros. And yeah, some cool, funny moments with Clara and Missy. But overall, I'd say it's a solid season premiere. Not a great one, but a solid one. Definitely a great palate cleanser for the Doctor, considering the last season premiere we had. So yeah, I like this new approach for the Doctor now.
It's a fun episode, and it's the introduction of the crazy uncle version of the Doctor.
Yep, a new aspect of the Doctor.
Like the guitar playing, like woo party Doctor. Like, come on. And the best part, that's Capaldi himself playing.
Yep, because he's a rocker in real life.
In a band with Craig Ferguson back in the day.
And now we're on to Capaldi's last season premiere. After two Christmas specials, we finally get a proper full season with the pilot.
Yeah.
So yeah, new companion. The Doctor's been around for quite a while. Guarding a vault. We still don't know what's in a vault just yet. But yeah, so this new companion, Bill Potts, falls in love with a woman that becomes a puddle and starts following her all over the universe, and no matter where the Doctor takes her, until eventually they realize that she just wanted, she was just following her because of a promise she made to her. So she convinces her to break the promise, and she dissolves into water again. We're still keeping an eye on her. Get it? She's keeping an eye because she's here, and telling you missed this. Anywho, so yeah, the Doctor then goes back and convinces Bill to travel with him as a sort of a way of getting out of the boredom that is guarding the stupid vault this whole time. Any thoughts you want to add on this episode?
Yeah, so I did see this one. I like how they brought back the aspect of the girl in the puddle for the end of Bill's run here at the end of this season. So I like how that set that up because it was kind of heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, overall, good season premiere. For a character that like I'm with everyone, wish we got more of on screen.
And yeah, me too.
And congratulations too, because she got married last week.
Yeah, I saw that. That. Mazel tov.
Yeah.
And not really a Dalek episode, but there are Daleks in it. That's
naturally.
the thing. And moving on, we have Jodie Whittaker's first season. Now, did you actually see? I'm pretty
Yes, I
sure you
saw.
did see.
I saw the episode when it debuted,
Yeah.
or the day
So
after, or something. But I saw it within the week.
the woman who fell to earth.
Yeah.
So after regenerating, and again, this is another classic example of we're getting introduced to the companions and their families before we get introduced to the Doctor in this episode. And yeah, so this new Doctor literally falls to Earth, and there's this mercenary guy, Predator type character, chasing after some guy as a prize, and the Doctor and friends are spending basically the majority of the episode trying to find the guy, find the missionary, and stop him and figure out why he's doing it. And right by the end, the Doctor finally gains her memories back and finally becomes the Doctor properly. And they stop the evil Tim Shaw. But yeah, unfortunately, Grace, the grandmother of Ryan and the wife of Graham, tragically dies.
Which is the biggest bummer from this episode.
Yeah, the major bummer.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a really good introduction for a character because, like, going into this, the first female Doctor, like, we didn't know what to expect. Chris Chibnall, new showrunner. So I thought as an introduction episode to a new Doctor, I thought it was pretty good.
Yep. I personally really like this.
Tim Shaw.
Tim Shaw.
Tim Shaw.
Tim Shaw.
Love it. So it's great. You know that this Doctor's gonna work when they can nail the humor properly. Yeah. I think it's a big part of the Doctor's character.
And like, I only knew Jodie Whittaker by that point from the show Broadchurch, so I thought she nailed the comedy. I was surprised to see that.
Right. Now, we might be onto the gray area of episodes you haven't seen.
We are, yes.
Yeah, and this next one is also another two-parter with Spyfall. And back to the whole episode using the same title, but part 1, part 2. I like that. So you didn't see Spyfall?
No, I did not, no.
Yeah, so basically secret agents from all kinds of agencies around the world are being taken out. All spies are being killed. Stephen Fry shows up for 5 minutes and recruits the Doctor and friends to help solve this problem, figure out who's killing all these secret agents. They're following this big mogul guy, basically an Elon Musk type character, an Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg type person. They're following him. They're spying on him, literally spying on him, with this other character called O, who is another MI6 agent, who by the end of the episode is revealed to be the Master.
Yay.
A spy master. And then he sends the Doctor into the past. He tries to kill the Doctor and friends. They somehow survive the plane crash, but the Doctor is somehow sent to the 1800s and then the 1940s, and she tricks the Master and she beats the Master in a very undoctor-ish way, one must add. But eventually she finds her way back to the present. They stop Daniel Barton, the media mogul guy, and as a bonus, the Doctor then finds out that, oh yeah, the Master destroyed Gallifrey again and killed all the Time Lords because of the mystery of the Timeless Child. So yeah, this episode, I love this episode, but it's got some negatives, particularly what the Doctor did to the Master. But yeah, overall, I think it's a very, very good episode, minus that one bit.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I always hear like good things about.
Yeah. And now for the final Jodie Whittaker first episode. I just love Bear's tongue hanging out that way. But yeah, so I can't focus. But yeah, so Speaking of dogs, the Halloween Apocalypse, the first episode of the Flux series. So the Doctor is still trying to find the division of the secret organization she was apparently a part of before she had her memories erased. And she finds one of their agents, Carvanista, who is on his way to Earth to collect a human to apparently save him from an incoming catastrophe, which of course we now know is the Flux. This episode is stuffed to the brim with things. We get Sontarans introduced.
Oh, it's a short series.
Yeah. And this episode has a lot to introduce in such a short span of time. We get introduced to the Carvanista, to Dan. We get reintroduced to the Sontarans again, the tunnels underneath London, all kinds of elements. We get introduced to Vendir as well. So many stuff to cover in just one episode. But for the most part, it's just the Doctor trying to save Dan from Carvanista before realizing that, oh yeah, Carvanista was actually saving Dan this whole time from the Flux. When are you going to watch the Flux finally?
Don't know. I just don't.
Well, at least it's an honest answer. So should we move on to the last one we're going to talk about for the day?
Yes, let's do it.
Space babies!
Very fair.
Yeah, space babies. The Doctor.
Oh, this was so much fun.
Yeah, it feels like Doctor Who again.
There, of course, is the stupid contingent online that says it doesn't, and I'm like, you guys are dumb.
Have you ever seen a Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Aye. So, probably the most ridiculous concept ever explored in Doctor Who: babies running a space station.
Yeah.
Space babies, to be precise. And there's a monster, of course, because Doctor Who is nothing without its monsters.
The boogeyman.
And the bogeyman, which is literally a man made of bogies.
Yeah, ew.
Yeah, probably could have done without that, but I think it works for a really good concept. Yeah. So disgustingness and ridiculousness aside, it feels like Doctor Who. And I probably wouldn't want to see another episode with space babies, but this is the kind of storytelling I want my Doctor Who from now on.
Yeah, probably my favorite thing for this episode, though, is the nanny filter.
Yes, I was going to bring up. I love that. That's literally something you can only do in Doctor Who. That's something that only works in Doctor Who, not any other sci-fi franchise ever.
You got the person behind the curtain just getting ready to curse up a storm, and it cuts right next to the filter, and you're like, oh my god, it's so ridiculous. Yep. No, this was so much fun. I love these two together. Like, as of this recording, we're only just over a week after this episode debuted. Yeah, this was so much fun to see Doctor Who back. I'm actually gonna go and watch the latest episode after this because I haven't had the time to watch it. So I'm definitely gonna watch that.
So you didn't watch the Stephen Moffat episode?
Not yet. No, I will after this, just because I haven't had the chance to yet.
But you did see the Beatles episode that didn't.
Yeah. I watched them back to back. Yes, I did. And oh my god, I thought Jinx Monsoon I think she's made for Doctor Who.
Is it a she or is it a them?
I forgot. But either way, Jinx Monsoon was made for who? Like, yeah. Dear God, that was awesome. That was a tour de force.
Yeah. Shame we only got one episode.
Hey, you never know.
But yeah, it's Doctor Who, man. It's Doctor Who. You know what? I don't think we've seen the last of Beep the Meep. Let's put it that way.
Oh, totally. I can see these characters coming back at the end of the season in like a big Legion of Doom type thing.
How long is Bear's tongue? That's like more than half his body.
Yeah, he doesn't normally pant like this. It's really weird.
How hot is it?
It's not hot at all.
So why is he panting like this?
I have no idea. And he's shaking too.
Well, put some covers on him. So yeah, before we move on, what do you think Ruby is?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was a kind of an interesting reminiscence of the 11th Doctor with Amy that one time. Yeah, I don't know just yet if I have like if there's a theory that I'm on board with because there's so many good ones out there. Um, Personally, I kind of hope at this point she's just kind of like something kind of new. Um, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like, I'm honestly, just excited to see where we go from here.
I think she's a child of the toy maker.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. I don't know. I've got nothing to base this on.
Well, okay. Well, spoilers. The Maestro is also a child of the toy maker. And that so clearly the Maestro had like the ability to manipulate music. Then what would Ruby be able to do that to?
Snow.
With the weather.
So I think every one of these children of the toy maker embody a different aspect of
Yeah.
the universe. That's how I think.
That's one I hadn't heard yet, but that it
Really?
could be possible.
Am I the only one who thought of that?
No, but it could be possible. It's one that definitely could be possible just based on like the events of like I said, the Maestro is a child of the toy maker as well, and yeah, it could be possible.
That's
But like
why
the runt of the litter, like the good one.
yeah, the one good child of the toy maker.
Yeah.
But that's why I can't wait for next week's episode because no spoilers. The next time teaser at the end of the more recent episode kind of hints that we might get to know a little more about Ruby's upbringing.
Ooh, nice.
But that is a story for another time. So, any final thoughts on the season premieres we talked about today? What is your favorite out of all these?
Hands down, the 11th Hour.
Yeah, I think it's easily the strongest.
100%, and also it was the second ever episode of Who I Ever Watched.
And of course, I gotta give credit to New Earth because that was my first, and without it, I wouldn't be watching the show. But I mean, I think all the credit has to go to this one.
100%.
Without it, we wouldn't have the show.
Exactly.
If this episode doesn't work, the rest of the season falls apart. And if the first season doesn't work, we don't have a Doctor Who anymore.
Can you believe next year it'll be 20 years since that episode debuted?
We're getting old, buddy.
We are, yes.
So, yeah. While we're doing that, where can the good people of the interwebs find you, and where exactly are you performing your stage play thing?
Yeah. So currently, you can find me busting my balls doing local theater performance of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But other than that, when I'm not doing that stuff, I'm usually over on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. And, on this channel, just doing my usual shit with 50 and occasionally popping up on the Movie Hero Network, on some panels over there.
Oh, so you've got time for other channels, but not
No,
me?
No. I haven't done that either, but that's like something I do as well when I'm actually doing this stuff.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No. Trust me. You think I'd do that to you, man? You would freaking hurt me.
I'd travel all the way there just to do it.
In August.
Spoilers. But yeah, so as for me, you can find me on my own YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. I recently did a reaction to every single Eurovision song for this year, as well as a reaction to the grand finals final scoring. Eurovision was a shit show this year for a lot of different reasons, but yeah. So while I'm not doing Eurovision related stuff, I'm also doing every weekly reviews of every single Doctor Who episode for 1963 all the way to 2024. And right now, I'm in the process of reviewing every episode for this new current season of Shuri Gatwa. And I'm also on this channel as well, doing the Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And finally, returning with a vengeance, Fun with Flags with this guy and his lovable dog that I cannot take my eyes off of. So, yeah, don't forget also to check out all the other wonderful channels from the Wider Universe at Large. It's been a while since I've done this. So yeah, we got something to talk about. Galaxy Geeks, Multiverse of Geekdom, Movies Net, Midnight Cinema, 8 reviews, and wouldn't you know it, in the front row is still not pictured on this thumbnail. So yeah, this has been us. This has been our triumphant return to doing shows together, and we'll be back in a day or so from now. I gotta do I gotta complete the month, obviously. But until then, everybody, in the words of Missy herself, if the mouse would finally work for once, in the words of Missy herself,
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
goodbye.